Hello everyone and welcome. It's Connie-Rae at stampityourself.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today's tutorial is a little bit of a creative one, and I do apologize. I have got really inky fingers because I have been playing. So I do apologize. I have been trying to get it off, but it's not coming off very easily. Today's tutorial is a little bit of an interesting one. Let's put it that way. It's about using dyes in a different way. And I basically I won't waffle on about it like I normally do, but I will keep your interest, I'm sure. Basically, what I've done here today is I've used the Flourish Thinlits dyes, which are these ones. Let me hold that up for you, that one. And I've also cut out a smaller one, like that. Okay, so you've got the black and the pink one there that I've cut out. And I've done a whole stack of them. And what I've decided to do is I've used them as stencils. How good is that? You can do this with a lot of dyes, and it's really like so good. This one came out particularly well, and I loved it the way it worked. So basically cut out a whole stack, because they do get a bit, if you're doing a lot, they do get a bit inky and you want to throw them. But I've got lots of them, that's for sure. So I'm going to show you how I've done this and use these as stencils today. And I really hope you enjoy it, because it was a lot of fun. So if you don't want to get your fingers all inky, this is not the place you need to be. So I've used the Flourish Thinlits dyes. I've used that one, and I've used the other one. I've cut out my dyes and I've created the stencils for these cards, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like when you make one. Now I used the base card is 8 inches by 4, and it's scored at 8 inches by 4, scored at 4. I've used a piece of black matte to go behind, which is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I've used my card front, which is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Really easy card, in the sense of they're easy to make and they're really kind of user friendly. They're not too big, not too small, so I do like them for that purpose. Let me just back out a bit more. Okay, I've used an array of colours. In these particular colours that I've used today, I have used Wisteria Wonder, I have used Rose Red, and I have used, this is my favourite, Island Indigo. Really love the Island Indigo. So I'm probably going to end up doing this tutorial in the Island Indigo, and you can see how it comes together. So what you're going to need is I like it how I just started to roll up my sleeves. It's kind of funny. Okay, let's get started doing the card. You need a piece of paper so that you can get it all dirty rather than your mat. It's entirely up to you how you go about that. You need a sponge or a dabber, whichever colour you like. It doesn't really matter. The colour you choose today is the colour that you choose. It doesn't really matter, because it all works beautifully the way that it is. Now I have got a white background here with a white card, which is probably not a brilliant idea. Let me see if I can just quickly get a darker card. If I've got some black somewhere. Alright, look, I've got the green colour here, so we'll just use the green ones, because that way you can see what I'm doing on the card itself. So I'll just move up a bit closer. So basically, when you're using this little die as a stencil, your die cut out as a stencil, you're going to create all these gorgeous little flowers all over your cardstock, which is your mat, which is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. I'm going to be using the Island Indigo. Now you can use, if you like, you can use your a medical grade tape to stick it down, or some washi tape, but personally I just don't want to run the risk of having to go all the way around and get almost finished and then have my paper rip. So look, I get it on my fingers and then I get it off. It takes a while to get it off though, that's the only problem. So I'll zoom in as close as I can so that you can see how this is working today. Let me just bring it up for you. There we go. Okay, so I've got my Island Indigo, which is the colour I'm using, and I'm just holding down my little flower, and I'm just going to go around and dab it all around within the flower and a little bit over. It doesn't hurt, because it looks really sweet once it's done. Just want to get all of the dye in, all the stencil. And as you take it away, it just looks fabulous. How pretty is that? Isn't it gorgeous? So moving around, you're going to put as many flowers as you can, I would think. I try to get as many as I can anyway. Again, just dabbing all the way around. Use more ink on one and less on other if you like. But you'll find a way for it. It's really quite easy. So this is a really great way to use your dyes and get the most out of them. Well, it's another way, let's put it that way, to use your dyes. So use your die cuts to make stencils. I think it's pretty cool. And I love the colours that these cut, and I love the way it worked. It just sort of like, because I was trying to create something with the flowers, isn't it funny? And then I thought, oh, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to, and if it does move like that, don't worry. You just put it back on. Line it up. And go back to what you're doing. How cool. It's so good. There's nothing like having a little stencil on hand, or an idea on hand that works really well. And you can do them in your favourite colours. Hope my hands aren't too busy and in the way for you, so you can see what I'm doing. I don't like it overlapping too much because it can look a bit messy. I like to have a little bit of a uniformity there, just so that it's got some sort of flow on the page. You do have to go behind it sometimes just to get that little bit of extra, but that's okay. See, how quick was that? Really easy. See, isn't that gorgeous? It just works really well. It's beautiful, fantastic. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to do is just go around your edges with a little extra colour. Just watch your fingers too, because if they have been inky, you don't want to get imprints all over your art. I'm just going to rub a little bit over the top just to blend it in a bit, because it works really well as well. And one more thing before we pack that up, I've already pre-cut a lot of this, and organised myself. Unusual. One more thing is just on the little card that we're going to use, which is I've used, I'll tell you about the little sentiment and the way that I've used it shortly, but just faintly, just on your little card or your sentiment, however you're going to put it, just very faintly, just dab a bit off, just faintly tap it down, just a little bit, and it will leave an imprint on there of the flowers, but you won't actually see it. It'll just give enough of a point of interest. Yeah, you can't really see it much there, but it does make a difference when you do it like that on your sentiment tag. Okay, so I'm going to put my blue away, get rid of my mess, so we can get on with the easy part. Well, actually, it's all quite easy, and it's fun. So it's interesting to use some dyes as stencils, which I've probably already said a couple of times, but I've just found it's fascinating. Really loved it. All right, so for the construction, it's pretty straightforward. I've used Tombow on this one because I like to make sure that it's straight. And I do sometimes not get it straight. So let me just, sorry, I keep zooming out of camera there. Can't see anything when I do that, can you? Okay, so just lining up your cardstock with your card. And as I said, I'm putting it on black because it makes the colour pop, and I love black. It's one of my favourite colours. And I've used Tombow just to make sure that it actually slides around and goes on straight and square. And then behind I have used some dimensionals. And I've put them a little bit inwards. I like to put my dimensionals a little bit inwards in terms of I don't like them right on the edge because I think they look a little bit tacky sometimes, especially if you've got to use a lot. Anyway, I've moved them in. be interesting to see lots of other colours. I'd like to see other people do some as well, to see what colours you come up with. My favourite is the indigo, and then I think the rose red is the next colour that I liked, and then the wisteria wonder in terms of favourites and stuff like that. You know how you've always got your favourite colour. Well, mine has to be this indigo blue. It's just beautiful colour. Okay, so basically there you go. Easy, isn't it? All right, so again, I have, going to the label, I have used, which die did I use for this? Okay, I have used the Tags and Framelits die, and I don't know if you remember, but I have on a previous video, and I'm quite happy to tell everybody again, with the Tags and Framelits dies, that there's a set of 6, and I marked them from the smallest, number 1, up to the largest, which is number 6. And in this instance, I've used number 4 for my sentiment, and I've used number 2 for my background in Dapper Denim in this instance. So I'll keep repeating that because that's the only way I think it's a really good way to drop them down, to actually, you need, because they don't come, the dies and the framelits and everything, they just don't come with any numbers or any indication which ones we're using. So it's good for a reference. That's how I do mine. I number them and then I know which number I'm using. So therefore in my tutorials you will see the same thing. So hopefully that works. Please let me know if it doesn't, but it should work. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, okay, I've lost the plot. This isn't working. Why is that working? What am I doing? Oh, not pressing hard enough. Silly me. Okay, so you've basically just done a little, just doing a little sentiment, because I loved the stencil background so much that I really didn't want to hide it too much behind a sentiment, but it is nice to have a sentiment. So the sentiment I have used is out of the Weather Together, the umbrellas stamps set. I'll put all the information on my blog, and I've used the Tiny Celebrate. Out of that, I've used the Tags and Framelits dies and the Flourishing Thinglet dies. I've used Whisper White, I've used Black, and I've used Dapper Denim as the cardstock here, and my Indigo Island ink. I put one little dimensional on the back here, but firstly I'm just going to stick down a little bit of linen thread. That, look at my blue thumb. Linen thread, which I've already prepared so you don't have to hang around too much, because I know time is precious for all of us. That's for sure. So I'm just putting this linen thread down, which looks kind of really cute. Which one am I going to put there? Yeah, got to make sure it's up the right way, because I tend to get over enthusiastic and not realise that I've done it. Okay, so we just pop that onto your card, and let me just pull that card out. I notice that I like to go up a little bit high, slightly higher than middle, and in the middle, of course. So, and I do sometimes not get it quite straight, so nope, all good. I'm thinking it's all good anyway. There we go. I was going to say, does that look backwards? Oh, no, it doesn't look straight, does it? Okay, that's all right. Oh yeah, it looks good. Okay, and we've got some, what else have we got? Oh yes, we've got the, got to put some diamantes on. Oh, dimensional, not dimensionals, what do we call them? Rhinestones. I always get the name wrong. Now these rhinestones that I'm using aren't from Stampin' Up. Sorry guys, I ran out, and of course I thought, oh no. So it doesn't matter for me at the end of the day. I use as much Stampin' Up stuff as I can because it is a good product. I don't have any problems with it. There we go. So just enough to make it sparkle. Do I need one over here? No, I don't think so. I'll put one up here. There we go. Just enough to make it pretty, which it is done. And I think that is it. So that's a really quick tutorial, isn't it? So I'm really grateful that everybody has joined me. I like this tutorial because it is user-friendly and it does create a little bit of interest, doesn't it, in terms of how you can use your dies to project and create more and get more out of them, really. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you like this tutorial. Please do go in and give it a shot. It's really quite interesting. Use a variety of colours, play around with it, just cut out a whole stack of dies, and then you can either reuse them or throw them out because they get a bit damp after a while with all my sticky finger bits. So yeah, enjoy, and I would love to see you back again here soon, and I will have another tutorial. So go ahead, please do support my channel, subscribe, pass it on to your friends to subscribe, please. And also don't forget, if you live in Australia, you can purchase any of my Stampin' Up supplies from my online store 24/7. You just go in, purchase what you want, check out. You don't have to join. You can if you want to be a hobbyist like myself. I get 25% off everything. And the other thing is, I had a sneak peek at the Christmas catalogue. Oh my gosh, it is beautiful, and there's so many things. Like, every page has got something I want. Stay tuned because I'm working on that one. I'm really going to hit the tutorials hopefully for the holiday season, as the Americans refer to it as, but for us it's the Christmas season. But they call it the holiday catalogue. So you will see lots of stuff coming out. As of September it will be available, but we as demonstrators, and that's another perk you get as a demonstrator, you get to do a pre-order and you get to get a sneak peek. And I have had a sneak peek and I'm in love. There is so many cute things this year. I don't know why. It might be just my imagination, but I certainly think this catalogue, I don't know if it's better than last year, but it's certainly captivating this year. That's a good word for it. I find it really captivating. It's got so many elements in it, and so many creative options, because it's got lots of 3D kind of feely things to it. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but at the end of the day, it's all good. Super exciting, and please do check on my channel frequently. But if you're subscribing, you'll know when I've uploaded a tutorial. So thank you very much for joining me again today, and have a crafty weekend, because it is Saturday here in Sydney, Australia. And if you can't have a crafty one, at least have a creative one. I'll leave that up to you. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time at stampit.com, stampityourself.com. Ciao.